Hello and welcome to Enjoy English School.
欢迎来到 Enjoy 英语学院。
I'm Stevie.
And I'm Laurie.
Today we are talking about our travel English lesson. I love to travel, so I love talking about traveling. And today we're talking about something that you will find if you go to the USA. We're talking about tipping culture today.
没错，所以今天来到我们观光英语的单元，要来讲到的这个主题，我觉得非常的实用哦。那么中文的标题呢，叫做小费文化知多少。那么呢，英文的标题很明显，它就是直接翻译，就是小费的文化哦。那因为这个东西在台湾是没有的，台湾并没有这样子，对。所以呢，如果你去国外的话，学习今天的对话内容的话，对你来讲是蛮 useful 的，很有帮助。所以呢，我们一起来看看吧。
Tipping culture. Alex and Sandra are tourists visiting the U.S. They are about to pay their bill at a restaurant.
That meal was great. How much do we pay?
Let me see the bill. Our meal itself was $45.50. After adding the tax, the total amount comes to $49.83. Should we just pay that?
America has a tipping culture, you know. It would be rude if we didn't tip.
Oh, right. I've been in Japan for too long.
Do they not tip in Japan?
No, they don't. Actually, if you try to tip, it is seen as rude. The worker will likely not accept it. It's not part of their culture at all.
In America, it's the opposite. Many different professions rely on tipping, such as taxi drivers and hairdressers.
It kind of makes everything more expensive, though, doesn't it?
It does, but usually the quality of service is better because tips are based on workers' performances. Especially in restaurants, waiters and waitresses aren't paid very well by the hour, so a big part of their salaries comes from tips.
How much should we tip our waiter today? I think he did pretty well and he was very friendly too.
For good service, I usually give 20% of the original bill without the tax included.
That means we should give him $9.10. Why don't we just round up to 10?
Sure, that works.
Okay, so today we have Alex and Sandra. And Alex and Sandra are tourists visiting the U.S. They are about to pay their bill at a restaurant. So they had dinner at a restaurant and now they're going to pay their bill.
所以我们来看到今天的对话呢，它的情境就是 Alex 跟 Sandra 两个人呢，他们是到访美国的游客啊 ，tourists 就是游客。那么他们呢，正准备要叫做 be about to，正准备要付他们在餐厅的账单。
Yes. So Alex says, "Oh, that meal was great. How much do we pay?"
所以呢 ，Alex 一开始呢，他首先讲到说，哎呀，这顿饭呢，真的是相当的棒所以表示他对这个晚餐或者是午餐很满意然后接着他说了那我们该付多少钱呢
Now, why does he say that meal was great and not is great?
因为已经吃完了。
Yes, so it's already past tense.
用过去式。
Yeah. So Sandra says, "Let me see the bill." Okay, so now she picks up the bill. Let me see the bill. Our meal itself was $45.50. Now here she could say was or is.
都可以。
Yeah, she could say is because she's talking about how much they have to pay now.
对。
So our meal itself was $45.50. You don't have to say $45.50. You can say that, but when we're looking at things in America, we just say $45.50.
对，这个是简单的说法，也比较常听到的
Right.
所以呢 Sandra 他就说来让我看看这个账单然后他说我们的餐点呢它本身是45.50然后呢这个他接下来会讲到说那他后面还有什么样的 这个数字的部分。
Yeah. Now, today we're talking about tipping, but I'm going to teach you something else. In Taiwan and in many places around the world, if you buy something and it says 100 NT, it's 100 NT. That includes the tax. Right?
对。
In the US, nothing includes the tax. I don't know why. It's silly. But nothing, no price includes tax. So you're always going to pay more than what you see on the menu or at the store. Always. There's always some tax added. Okay? So our meal itself was $45.50. After adding the tax, the total amount comes to $49.83. Now, they don't have to figure the tax.
Okay.
The tax will, when you get the bill, it will tell you how much is taxed.
It's on the bill.
Yeah, it's on the bill. So the total amount comes to $49.83.
所以他说呢，刚刚讲餐点本身是45.50块，但是呢，如果再加上税的话呢，那么总额这里的 total amount 就是金额的意思哦，所以呢，这个总金额就会来到 comes to 这是一个固定的一个用法、comes to 就会来到呢49.83。
Yeah. Should we just pay that? So should we just pay $49.83?
然后呢 ，Sandra 就问说，那我们就该付这样子的金额就好吗？
Now, Alex says, America has a tipping culture, you know. So this just means, you know this, right? You know, you could say it in front.
对。
Yeah. America has a tipping culture, you know. That means, no, that's not all we pay.
对，没错。所以呢 ，Alex 他回答他的这个问题呢，他用的方式并不是直接回答 yes 或 no， 他是说呢，美国在美国是有小费文化的，你知道吧？这样，所以表示那个答案是一个 no， 并不是只要付这样就好。
It would be rude if we didn't tip. It would be rude if we don't add a tip in.
所以呢，他说这样子将会是很失礼的。怎么样子呢？如果我们不给小费，好，那这边注意了，小费这个动词呢 ，tip 它在这边呢是用一个动词的形态来使用，所以 we didn't tip 就是我们不给小费。中文有一个给这个字比较像它的动作，但是在英文里头 tip 本身它就是一个动词，所以你直接说 we didn't tip 就可以。
动词名词都是，
两个都可以。
Give somebody a tip or tip somebody. Yeah.
对，两个都可以啊。
Right. Okay, so now Sandra says, oh, right. That just means, oh, yeah, tipping culture, I forgot. Or I've been in Japan for too long.
对，所以呢 ，Sandra 说啊，对齁，所以他才想起来有这件事情。接着他说呢，我已经在日本待太久了。
So Alex says, do they not tip in Japan? He could say, don't they tip in Japan? But here he's just like, oh, do they not tip in Japan?
对，这样子的问法，或者是把那个 not 移到前面变 don't they 都可以啊。那么意思都是一样的，就是在日本不给小费吗？
Yeah. And so now Sandra says, no, they don't. No, they don't tip. Actually, if you try to tip, it is seen as rude. Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, if you try to give them money to say thank you, it's rude.
Okay.
Oh, I like Japan.
好，所以 Sandra 他就说不就是呢这个因为刚刚前面 Alex 问说他们在日本不给小费吗？所以这个 Sandra 回答他不给他们并不给小费。事实上呢，如果你试着要给小费的话呢，这件事情、这个动作、这个举动会被视为是很失礼的、很 rude，
Yeah.
很无礼的。
So in Japan, it's rude if you tip. The worker will likely not accept it. So usually the worker in Japan that you try to tip usually they will not accept it. They likely will not, or they will likely not, or will not likely accept it. You could do both of those.
所以呢，他接着说，员工很有可能 will likely 很有可能不会接受你的小费。
It's not part of their culture at all. Like not even a little bit. It's just not part of their culture.
对，所以呢，如果你把 at all 先不看的话呢，就是这并不是他们文化的一部分。但是你加了一个 at all， 它是一个 emphasis 一个强调，所以就变成这完全不是，这一点都不是他们的文化。
Okay, we're going to stop right here, and we're going to take a very quick break, and we'll be right back with the next part of our dialogue. So, Sandra just said in Japan, they don't have a tipping culture.
No.
It's rude. They probably won't accept it. And now Alex says in America, it's the opposite. Now, what's the opposite? Japan has no tipping. It's not part of their culture. So in America, it's the opposite, which means, yes, they have tipping.
所以呢 ，Alex 继续讲到说，在美国的话呢，事情刚好是相反的，情况刚好是相反的所以呢，日本是没有小费文化，那在美国那显然是有的了。
Many different professions rely on tipping, such as taxi drivers and hairdressers. So many different professions. A profession is just, it's the job that you do, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a hairdresser, your profession is you're in the hairdressing profession. Okay. So many different professions rely on. When we say we rely on, actually in America, that is a good part of their wages. Yeah, we'll talk more about that at the end of the article. But
没错。
a lot of different professions rely on tipping, like taxi drivers and hairdressers, and waiters and waitresses, people who in the service industry.
对 ，service industry 就叫做服务业因为 service 是服务，那么 industry 是产业，所以就是服务业服务业其实都很仰赖小费，所以我们回到这个句子，他讲说许多不同的 professions 就是职业的意思很多的不同的职业呢都 rely on 都是依靠这个小费，那么例如这个计程车司机或者是发型设计师。
Yeah. Now Sandra says, "Oh, it kind of makes everything more expensive, though, doesn't it?" So she's saying, oh, but because of tipping, it makes everything more expensive. Right? Doesn't it? Yeah.
对 right?
Yeah.
所以呢 Sandra 他就说 it kind of 这个 it kind of 呢，它是一种固定的一个用法。他讲的是这是不是有多少有点怎么样怎么样，就是这种感觉。那其实就是 it is.
Yeah.
其实是这样的意思。
Kind of is just kind of a nice way of making it not sound so serious.
So direct.
Yeah, like
对
I'm kind of angry at you.
那其实就是 I am.
It means I'm a little bit angry. I don't want to cause a big fight, but I want to let you know I'm not happy.
对，那你就会说 I'm kind of.
Yeah.
这是一种婉转的用法，但是其实它是肯定的，就是我是这样子。所以这里他说呢，那这个不就 it 指的是这种 tipping 的这种 culture 呢？它就让所有的东西比较贵了不是吗？这样子。
Yeah. So because she said it makes everything more expensive, though, doesn't it? So Alex says it does, and this because he's replying to doesn't it.
对。
He could also say, yep.
也可以，也可以。
Yep, that's true.
对。
It does. It does make everything more expensive, but usually the quality of service is better because tips are based on workers' performances. So tips are based on the performance of the worker, how well they did.
对。所以呢，他接下来首先 Alex 回答 it does 就是是的 这个it 我们刚刚讲的就是那个 tipping culture 那个小费的文化，确实是什么？是让所有的东西变得比较贵了，没错啊。但是呢，通常这个服务的品质叫 quality of service， 这个服务的品质呢也变得比较好。为什么呢？因为小费就是基于这里的 be based on 就是基于什么什么什么，基于员工他们的这个表现。所以呢，既然是基于他们的表现，所以他们表现比较好，你的服务品质当然就比较好。
Yeah. Especially in restaurants. So especially means
特别是
yeah, 特别是. So especially in restaurants, waiters and waitresses, or sometimes we just call them servers.
对，也可以，就没有性别了。
Yeah. Waiters and waitresses aren't paid very well by the hour. So, a big part of their salaries comes from tips. So, when we say waiters and waitresses aren't paid very well by the hour, actually in America there is the minimum wage for, like, I guess other people is like $6 or $7 or $8 an hour, $15 in some places. But for waiters and waitresses, the minimum wage is $2.35 per hour.
Really?
So it's only like 6-70块台币.
Wow.
That's the hourly wage because they rely on tips.
Okay.
And so when you don't tip, that's why it's so rude.
That really makes a huge difference.
Huge difference.
真的造成很大的不同这个小费。
Yeah.
OK， 好，所以呢，接下来这一句他讲到说，特别是在餐厅里面，那么男的服务生跟女的服务生所以这里的 waiters 跟 waitresses 它是有这个性别的他们并没有被付钱这里的 aren't paid， 那这里的付钱当然就是付他们的薪资并不是被付薪资付的非常的 well。非常的优渥 by the hour， 所以是时薪并不高然后呢，所以呢，很大一部分他们的这个 salaries 就是他们的薪水呢，要 comes from tips， 要来自于小费。
Yeah. So now Sandra says, how much should we tip our waiter today? How much should we, tip our waiter? So they had a waiter. How much do we tip this guy today?
对。然后这边的话呢 Sandra 就问了，她说那我们应该要给我们的今天的服务生多少钱的小费呢？那注意这边就是刚刚 Stevie 老师讲的另外的一种动词的用法，就是 tip 后面直接加你的对象tip somebody 所以呢这个是当动词的用法。
Then she says, I think he did pretty well. And he was very friendly too. So he did a good job and he was friendly.
所以呢 Sandra 她发表她的感觉，她说我认为她今天做的相当好，这里的 pretty 是相当的意思然后呢她也非常的友善。
And so Alex says, for good service, I usually give 20% of the original bill without the tax included. Okay, so for good service, I give 20% of the original bill. All right, so if your bill is $10, then you give $2.
That's right.
Right?
所以呢 Alex 他就说如果是对于这个很良好的服务的话呢，我通常会给原本账单的20%。那什么叫原本账单？所以逗号的后面就是补充，就是没有含税金的那个，就是原本的账单。
Yeah. And so now Sandra says, okay, that means we should give him $9.10.
所以呢 Sandra 很快就算出来，她说那就是意思是我们应该给他9块10。
Why don't we just round up to $10? Round up to. This is a good term if you want to learn anything about math. Rounding up is something that we do in math all the time.
对，没错。所以呢，他说，那我们何不把它呢上凑成一个整数到10块钱呢？这里的 round 它呢有一个功能，当形容词的时候指的是整数的那种整所以呢 round up to 呢就是指把一个什么东西加多一点，然后凑成一个整数的意思。
Yeah. Alex says, sure, that works. That just means, sure, okay, I agree.
没问题啊。所以 Alex 说当然可以呀，这个是行得通的，没问题的。
Yeah. Now, just to let you students know, 20% is the average. If they do really well, you can give more. But if you give less, you're telling them they did a bad job.
Oh.
Okay?
So your tip can speak.
Yes. Or if you give less, you're just rude.
也对，就
小气。
很失礼了。
Yeah, yeah. So that is why service in the U.S., that's why they're so friendly in restaurants. You know, in Taiwan, they might give you a menu, you know, like, what's good? 都可以啊. And, you know, maybe they hand you your drink here. You know, 常常看到人就是摆个臭脸. Not even a poker face, just a bad face. But in America, you won't see that because they want your money.
They need your tip.
They need your tips. So they're going to be so nice and friendly. So just enjoy it. Okay. All right. That's our article. We're going to stop right here. We'll be right back with our words and phrases. Okay, looking at our words and phrases, to tip somebody is a verb and a tip is the noun. We also talked about being about to do something. You're going to be doing something soon. We talked about the word profession, the job field that you're in. We talked about relying on somebody or something. We also talked about the word performance, how well you did. We talked about the word salary, the amount of money that you make. We used the word original, like the original meaning, the original bill. And we learned the phrase round up to something. So those are our words and phrases for today. And that is all for our travel lesson. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.